Welcome to our Fall 2019 Post-Acceptance Webinar for incoming exchange students. Today you'll be hearing from me, Tiffany Brown. I'm a Global Education Advisor here at UGA, as well as Sarah Quinn, a Global Education Advisor here as well. And we do have two special guests who will be speaking today. Okay. So the agenda. First, we're going to hear from immigration, or we're going to hear about the DS 2019 process, estimated budget. We'll talk a bit more about the StudyAway portal and post-decision documents, so questionnaires, materials, and signature documents, student account holds, course registration, UGA email address, housing, student account payments, health insurance, meal plan, arrival on campus, and we'll hear from someone at International Student Life Orientation.
And there will be time in between each of these items for you all to ask questions. And you can do that by typing in the text box, just like at the beginning of this presentation when we were asking if you all could hear us. So if you all can hold your questions until the question portions, we'll be able to answer each question as it relates to the topic. And then there will be time for questions at the end of the presentation as well.
So first, we'll hear from Jennifer.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Beasley. I'm an International Student and Scholar Advisor at UGA. Myself and my colleague Linnea Tai will work to process your DS 2019 request. Most of you have already started this process. You should have received an email from our office with instructions to log into a site called istart.uga.edu. And request your DS 2019 form. If you haven't received this email yet, please send us an email at immigration.uga.edu so we can make sure you're coded right on our end of things. But basically, once you log in, you'll be prompted to enter some basic information about yourself. You'll be asked to upload a copy of your passport, evidence of your funding to show that you have the money to support yourself while you're here in Athens. We really prefer that the funding statements be translated into English. It's just easier for us on our end. If the funding source is in the name of your parents or a sponsor, we're also going to require a letter of support from the owner of the funding account stating how much of those funds are available to you while you study in the United States. On here it says that the funds should not be older than 2 months, but technically we can go as far as 6 months, so don't worry about that. And we also require that you upload proof of your English speaking abilities, whether it's in a TOEFL test form or something, but there are options listed in the iStart system that you can choose from. Once you upload all 3 of those items or 4 of those items in the system, we receive it here and we process the DS 2019 in a system called CBIS, and we'll send you an email once that document has been printed. That email will have your very important CBIS number, which you'll use to pay a fee called an I-901 fee that will allow you to go ahead and schedule your visa appointment at the appropriate embassy. We also send you very detailed instructions on the whole process, running from how to pay that fee, how to make your visa appointment, and then how to check in with our office once you get here. About 30 days prior to your arrival, you'll start receiving more emails from our office, giving you instructions and prompting you to log into iStart and complete the check-in process. The check-in process cannot be completed until you are actually inside the United States because we need certain documents that can only be obtained once you're inside the United States. Once that's done, we'll process your check-in. You'll get another email confirming it's been completed, and then your record will be active in the CBIS system. Back to the funding, you can see here on the screen the various amounts that are required to be shown based on how long you're going to be here. So this looks like it's based on 1 semester. If you're coming for 2 semesters, of course, it's going to be, double that amount. But inside the iStart system, we do break down the amount that you have to show based on how long you're going to be here. So you don't need to write all this down or anything. It's all inside the program where you request your DS 2019. Do we have any questions regarding the immigration process or the whole piece? How are the DS 2019s being mailed?
So that is a process that will go through our office as soon as you have your DS 2019 approved and it's printed out by Jen. Tiffany and I will be getting that document, and we will be sending it off to your university through the mail. And so something that is very important about that part of the process is that we wait until we have your official acceptance letter from UGA and mail that along with your DS 2019. So I believe that everyone has at this point applied to UGA and you have all of your documents uploaded. And so it's really just a matter of making sure that you go through these steps that Jen just described so that we can print those off and have those ready for you. We will send you an email as soon as we get the DS 2019 and alert you to when it is being mailed. And in general, we find that between the time when we send you that email and we put the DS 2019 in the mail to you, it usually takes between 3 to 5 days to arrive at your home university, just depending on where you are in the world. And I do want to highlight that we are sending these to your home university and not to your home address. So please make sure to coordinate with your university's exchange coordinator to make sure that you are aware when this document arrives at your university.
Great. Are there any more questions?
And if you do have any other questions along the lines about the immigration process, you can just shoot us an email at immigration@uga.edu.
All right. Thank you so much, Jen, for joining us. We really appreciate it.
See you guys in the fall.
All right. So we're going to go on to our next part, which is about the StudyAway portal and post-decision documents. So similar to the pre-decision phase, there are questionnaires, signature documents, and material submissions. So in the questionnaires, you'll have a section for UGA exchange and sponsor students' arrival. In signature documents, you'll have additional course requests, clearing holds in Athena for pre-registration, and housing registration instructions. For material submissions, you'll have information about international student orientation, UGA health, organization history, and TV screening form, which many of you have already submitted, and UGA housing registration. For the undergraduate exchange application in the questionnaires, you'll see UGA incoming exchange student arrival questionnaire. Signature documents will include additional course requests, clearing holds in Athena pre-registration, housing registration instructions, and incoming exchange course registration. For material submissions, the screen's going to look like this, similar to when you were submitting your transcripts and other documents. And then here you'll learn more about submitting for ISL student orientation, UGA health organization history and TV screening form, as well as UGA housing registration. For the graduate exchange application, the questionnaires will include UGA incoming exchange student arrival questionnaire, and signature documents will include the clearing holds in Athena pre-registration and housing registration documents. So for material submissions, similarly, you will also need to submit information about ISL student orientation, UGA health immunization history and TV screening, as well as the UGA housing registration. So for engineering students, there are a few extra steps needed, and keep an eye out for an email that I'm going to be sending you all today. Okay, are there any questions? No? Okay. Course registration. So When we do get to the part about course registration, you will be going to this website, athena.uga.edu. And prior to course registration, you should be aware of any holds that might be on your account. A hold on your account means that you have not yet completed a required step before registration. Some common holds include emergency contact hold, which require you to update your emergency contact information, and this hold can be cleared by you. The student acknowledgement hold, this requires you to read information about your student account balance or payment and agree to UGA accessing your information. Again, this hold can be cleared by you. There is the health center hold, which requires you to complete your required health immunization documents and TB screening forms and upload them to the StudyAway portal. This hold must be cleared by the University Health Center, so please complete your documents and submit them to us as soon as possible so we can help you to clear that hold. For the graduate school hold, you must be approved for enrollment by the graduate school. And for the VLP hold, that is called the verification of lawful presence. So that requires you to check in with UGA upon arrival, and that can be done online. And it'll be lifted once you have submitted the required documents after arrival. So course registration for exchange students will start on April 22nd and go through July 14th. On July 14th, a VLP hold will be placed on your account until you arrive or check in. After your VLP hold has been lifted, you'll be able to register for classes again. Our office will reach out to you about 2 weeks prior with the status of your course requests, which ones you'll be able to register for, and instructions regarding registration. There is a required number of credits for students to take to comply with J1 visa regulations. So for undergraduates, that's 12 to 15 hours and up to 17. For graduates, that's 9 hours without an assistantship or 12 hours with an assistantship. If you wish to request alternative courses, please do so using the additional course request form. Schedules can be adjusted during the drop add period, which is from August 14th through the 20th. You can withdraw from classes until the withdrawal deadline, which is October 21st. Please remember, course requests must go through our office. Do not contact professors or other staff and advisors directly unless you are instructed to do so by our office. Are there any questions about this process? Okay, looks like there's no questions. Okay, so this segment is going to be about your UGA email address. And so you must have an email address with UGA, and that's important for communication with UGA professors and staff because this communication should occur between your UGA email account with these people. So you'll need your 810 number. Sorry, your 810 number is considered to be sensitive information, so don't give that via email. They can only be sent between UGA email accounts. Professors cannot share information about courses through personal accounts. To log into your UGA email, set up your UGA My ID according to instructions you received via email after applying to UGA. If you need help, you can check out this link to the EITS video, and then you'll access that through logging in to ugamail.uga.edu. If you have any further questions about setting up your UGA email, please contact the EITS help desk.
And I just want to reiterate that a lot of you have your 81 number and have added it to the signature line in your personal email account. And you might find that we are unable to respond to your email or forward that email, or we've had to remove that particular 81 number before being able to respond. And it is just because that is considered to be sensitive information. And so we are actually blocked from being able to send those emails forward if they have those numbers in them. However, oftentimes when you need information, you're requesting information about course requests or communicating with a professor, you will need to communicate your 81 number. And so we just want to reiterate that that can only be done if you have a UGA email account, you're sending your 81 number with that UGA email account to another UGA email account. So definitely in the next couple days, try and get your UGA email address set up. and then go ahead and just start communicating with us using that email address.
And this is what the screen is going to look like. And you'll click here to log in. And this is what the inbox view looks like. And then there's just a quick note about phishing. So phishing emails are designed to look official, and they're trying to trick you into sending them personal information, like your username, password, birthday, or even financial information. They will usually want you to take action. So examples might be to revalidate immediately, reply at once, upgrade now. They have a close deadline for acting, so that might be immediately or within 24 hours or even today. They threaten to remove access to a service like email, online banking, a social networking site, or PayPal. And they try to trigger an emotional response, like panic, to goad you into responding with the information they request. Occasionally, you will receive legitimate messages from UGA to inform you regarding necessary changes to your account. Keep in mind, UGA will never ask you for your password in an email. Any MyID password change, refresh, or update will take place on the MyID Tools and Information webpage. If you're in doubt, forward it to us or to eits@abuse@uga.edu. And for more examples, you can click here on this link. Are there any questions? Okay. So housing. For housing, you can live on campus or off campus. And every attempt will be made by our office to secure on-campus housing for students. So due to limited availability, however, our on-campus housing is not guaranteed. Please let us know via email if you would prefer to live off-campus. For on-campus housing, there are 4-bedroom suites in East Campus Village with 3 other students. That'll be 1 exchange student and 2 UGA students. The cost include application fee of $35, the semester fee of $3,636. All costs will be billed to your student account and will be paid after you've arrived on campus. This includes all utilities, including cable and internet. For off-campus housing, you can find furnished and unfurnished apartments available with varying prices and amenities. Contracts will need to be negotiated individually, and you might need to sublease for the summer. This can also introduce the need for a car or public transportation to get to campus. But there are Athens transit buses which do come to campus and come from various apartments. If you still want the meal plan, you are eligible for the commuter plan, which is 65 to 80 meals per week. The International Student Life has an off-campus housing guide here.
And we just want to emphasize the majority of our incoming exchange students who request on-campus housing are able to be accommodated. And I would say the majority of our students are satisfied with the living accommodations in East Campus Village. However, every year we do have students who choose to live off campus. And both systems have advantages and disadvantages, just depending on your personal preferences and your budget. We do tend to find that students who live off campus would usually end up spending a little bit more money than the students who live on campus. And typically they end up needing to buy things like furniture for their apartments. Although there are options for furnished apartments as well, those just tend to be more expensive. And so we really encourage you to think through the pros and cons of each of these before making a decision. And we do want to emphasize that although Athens is a small town, a lot of the grocery stores and other things that you might need to kind of go about your daily life are not within walking distance from where a lot of the student housing, both on and off campus, are available. And so we really want you to ask us questions ahead of time if you're making this type of decision. You know, if you want to live off campus, is the location that you're looking at something that is easily accessible in terms of getting to campus every day, in terms of buying your groceries, in terms of having access to whatever it is you need to have access to. We are both very familiar with Athens and a lot of the different off-campus options, and so just please feel free to ask us questions as you try and figure out what you want your accommodations to be next year.
Thanks, Sarah. So this is a model image of the housing setup. Options are Busby Hall, McWhorter Hall, Rooker Hall, and Vandiver Hall. ECV is close to Village Summit Dining Hall, the Health Center, Ramsey Center, Visual and Performing Arts Center, the Georgia Museum of Art, and intramural fields. It's open during university breaks. It's apartment style living with 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. There is no stove or oven. It's located next to the East Campus Village bus stop, which has the bus lines Ag Hill, East Campus Express, East West, and Orbit.
And so we'll touch on the specifics of enrolling in the UGA meal plan a little bit later in this presentation, but we just want to emphasize that if you are living in East Campus Village, even though you will have like a sink and you know, the option to heat up things in a microwave, it's really not a situation where you can cook for yourself in the same way that you might cook if you had a full kitchen, simply because there is no stove and no oven. And so most of our students who live in East Campus Village do end up enrolling in the UGA meal plan because it provides easy access to good, healthy meals at all times of the day. And as you can see, that's one of the first things that we listed that ECV is close to. So again, as you're making decisions about where you're living next year and whether or not you want to enroll in the meal plan, that is something to keep in mind, that living on campus in ECV does not really allow you to cook for yourself.
And so for your on-campus contact information, if people want to send you mail, your mailing address will be your name, Busby Hall, the room and apartment number that you're in, 365 River Road, Athens, Georgia, 30609 4205. The community office would be Rooker Hall. They can be reached at ecvcom at uga.edu. Their number is 706-542-2041, and their 24-hour desk is Rooker Hall, 706-542-1780.
And just to quickly note, you'll be finding out your official on-campus housing assignments in the next few weeks, as we are working with on-campus housing to give them all of your names. And so that is an example of what a mailing address might look like, but you might not actually be in Busby Hall. You might be in McWhorter Hall, or you might be in Vandiver Hall. So this is just to give you an example of what that mailing address would look like, but that might not necessarily be your actual address.
Okay. So registering for housing on campus. To register, you should access the housing website registration link. Click on the doghouse on the right side of the website. Sign in with your MyID and password. If you have trouble logging in, again, you can use the EITS live chat. Select register for housing and the academic term. Use a credit card to pay the $35 non-refundable registration fee. Skip the next page, which is the roommate profile question, by clicking the Save and Continue button until you reach the confirmation status page. Then close your application. A UGA housing staff will assign you to an apartment and room within ECV, Rooker, Vandiver, Busby, or McWhorter. You will be with 2 current UGA students and 1 other exchange student. Monitor your UGA email for an email about signing your housing contract. Once you've completed housing registration, upload a screenshot of your registration payment confirmation. You will receive an email in your UGA email account with the housing assignment and contract, which includes instructions on how to activate or accept the official housing contract for the full term you'll be a UGA student. So please read the contract and activate it by agreeing to the offer terms. Please note, you will be offered a housing contract for 11.5 months, covering the fall, spring, and summer terms. If you will be taking classes at UGA only for a semester, you will be able to cancel any extra terms in the contract without financial penalties. You may be charged cancellation penalties if you cancel an activated contract during the term when you still attend UGA in Athens. Penalties also apply if you cancel a contract past the cancellation deadline. All housing fees will be billed to and paid via your UGA student account.
And we're bringing up this idea of canceling your housing contract just because we know the majority of you are coming either for only the fall semester or the fall and spring, and you're leaving for that summer semester. We just want to put this on your radar early on, but we will make sure to email you well in advance so that you know when it's time to go into your housing account and cancel your contract. Tiffany and I will make sure to give you step-by-step instructions on how to go about that. So this is not something you need to worry about now. We just want to make you aware as you're reading the language and signing up for on-campus housing and you see that 11.5 months, but you know you're only staying for a few months or the academic year. We'll make sure to work with you to successfully cancel your contract.
Are there any questions about housing? No? Okay. So next is student account payment. So I see there are some questions. Let's see. If you have an application extension, does that affect the chances of getting on-campus housing?
No. If you have an application extension that we've communicated to you, that should not affect your chances of getting on-campus housing. As you all have probably seen, there's a questionnaire in your pre-decision documents that you all had to answer requesting on-campus housing, and we will actually go ahead and submit a list of those students who have requested on-campus housing all at the same time to our to UGA's housing organization. So just make sure that you have submitted it as soon as possible. I believe Tiffany will be reaching out maybe next week to confirm with you because we know it's been a little bit of time since you all put in those initial requests. So just make sure to have that updated in the next few days. If you're not able to update it in the StudyAway portal, just email Tiffany or myself to confirm with us that you would like on-campus housing or to let us know that you no longer would like on-campus housing and you'll be looking for off-campus housing instead.
And the next question is, can you register for housing right now? Yes, you can.
And you can use those instructions on the previous page that we were going through. We will email this PowerPoint presentation out to everyone, as well as giving everyone a link to the webinar. So as soon as you get that information, you can go in and request the housing. But keep in mind, this is sort of a two-part process where you all are going in and requesting housing, but then our office is confirming with housing that you are an exchange student and we have approved your request. And so it's, it might take a bit of time between when you make a campus or an on-campus housing request and when you are emailed that contract from housing to confirm that you will be living on campus. So it is a bit of a process, but you can always email us at any time to sort of see where you are in the process, and we'll work with you to get answers and give you the most updated information possible.
Great. Are there any more questions? Okay. So student account payments. All charges and fees will be added to your electronic student account, and that's accessible in Athena, athena.uga.edu. So you'll log into Athena, click on student account, access student account, and then logging in. And this is what your screen will look like.
And there is a green button there that says make payment. And so we'll talk a bit more about what charges would be on your account when you arrive here on campus. But when you make the payment, you would just click that green button to pay.
So charges to your student account can include the meal plan, ECV hall rent housing, ECV hall council fee housing, international health insurance, the ISCF or International Student Compliance Fee, early move-in, ISL orientation, lab art fees for classes. Please note that our exchange program is a tuition exchange program. Therefore, you should not be paying tuition or student fees on your student account. All of these fees, however, do have to be placed on your student account. They will eventually be waived.
And I do want to mention that the way that UGA bills your student account can sometimes look very confusing to students because every single fee will be listed even if you're not paying for it. So for example, we provided this list of fees that you might find on your student account. Clearly, if you don't choose to enroll a meal plan or if you don't choose to live on campus, you would not get those fees placed on your account. But things like the health insurance fee, the international student compliance fee, those are things that absolutely would be placed on your account. But then you'll also see charges to your account like the charge for both in-state and out-of-state tuition. Those, for reasons beyond our understanding, those simply have to be placed on your account. But then there will be a waiver that actually will, it'll cancel out that charge. And so you won't actually be paying that charge even though it's showing up on your account. And so please just sort of keep an eye on your account, look at what that total number is that's being billed to you. If it seems like a little high, like it's $20,000, that's probably not correct, and just shoot us an email. We are not actually able to access your student account and look at what charges are on your account. So anytime you have a question about charges, it's always helpful for us to see a screenshot so that we can sort of assess what's going on. But these are some of the fees that you might see. It's possible there could be others. So anyway, just communicate with us and we will do the best that we can to help you interpret what's being billed to your account.
Great. So specific information about paying your student account balance will be provided during your on-campus orientation. If you would like to start to familiarize yourself with some common international student payment options, you can do so via the UGA Bursars website. Please do not pay your student account balance prior to arrival.
And we emphasize this because, as I was mentioning in the previous slide, there are a lot of things that do automatically get billed to your account, like tuition, that you don't actually need to pay. And so sometimes we see students going ahead and paying the balance before those waivers have been put on. And so they end up paying tens of thousands of dollars that they don't need to pay. And of course, it does eventually get refunded to you, but it takes a bit of time. And so we just encourage you, even though you're going to be getting emails that say charges are being added to your student account, you do not need to pay anything until you have arrived on campus. And we'll communicate with you what those exact deadlines for payment are. But we really want to make sure that you're only paying what you need to pay.
Are there any questions about this? Okay. Health insurance. So health insurance is mandatory for undergraduate and graduate international students holding F or J visa status. Student accounts will be charged immediately after registration. The dates for this coverage is fall, August 1st through December 31st, 2019. In order to receive your health insurance card, you must register for classes and you must have a U.S. address on file in Athena.
And I just want to pop in here and emphasize that you do need to enter your U.S. address correctly in Athena. We tend to find that a lot of students will enter a U.S. address, but it'll be entered incorrectly, and so that causes a lot of delay in terms of being able to process your health insurance or your health insurance waivers. So if you have a question about how to enter that U.S. address correctly, please email us. But just know that that seems to be a common place where a lot of exchange students get tripped up just in entering it correctly.
For waivers, if you already have health insurance that covers everything listed here, you can apply for a waiver. Waiver application deadline is after your arrival on campus, and the date will be communicated as soon as it's posted. In order to be eligible for a waiver, you must be registered for classes, have a US-based mailing address on file with UGA, so please make sure you've updated Athena and it's entered correctly, have a UGA email address set up. So you'll visit the studentcenter.uhcsr.com/waive coverage. Have your 8-1 number and date of birth ready. When this form is submitted, your coverage is active in the system. An ID card will be generated within 48 to 72 hours. If you have any questions, contact gshiplan@uga.edu and identify yourself as an incoming international exchange student and provide your 8-1X number.
And I do want to mention that they haven't listed the official price yet of fall 2019 health insurance. Last fall, it was around $1,000, a little over $1,000, and so that's about what we're anticipating for this fall as well. But we'll notify you as soon as we're made aware of what that exact charge is. But just to reiterate, every single student will automatically be enrolled in health insurance, and so you will see that charge added to your account no matter what. And so if you are coming in with health insurance that meets the criteria listed on that link, if you click that link where it says here, you'll see all of the details in terms of what that health insurance needs to cover. You would be eligible to apply for a waiver, which will take off that charge of the health insurance since you are already covered. If you, like Tiffany said, I know this is a complicated process and it involves a lot of specifics about health insurance. And so if you do have any questions, we encourage you to reach out to that email at the bottom. They work with exchange students every single semester who have a lot of very detailed questions and are really good at understanding, you know, what would be able to, what kinds of health insurance plans could waive the mandatory plan, and basically any other questions that you have. So we also want to emphasize you cannot apply for this waiver until you get to campus, but we do encourage you to familiarize yourself with what's listed on that website so that you can make those plans accordingly and make sure that you, if you want to have a plan from your home country, that it meets the requirements and you are eligible for a waiver if you want one.
Awesome. Are there any questions about this? Okay, so you already have a question. How do you find your 8-1 number?
You can always email us. We have a list, but I believe you can also find it in your Athena account. But probably the easiest way for you to get that number would be to just send us an email.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. Meal plan. So there are 4 dining halls on campus: Village Summit, Snelling, Bolton, and Oglethorpe. For your meal plans, you should sign up online at dining.uga.edu/meal plans. You'll choose between the commuter or residential plan, which is a 5 or 7 day plan from January 6th through May 11th.
I'm sorry, I didn't update those dates. That's from the fall, or excuse me, from the spring.
Yes.
But they will be available, I believe it's from August 10th through December 13th. So it would be for the whole time that you are on campus as a student.
Yes. Sorry about that. And also PAW points. So a variety of food options are available. They take into account your special dietary needs. You can also get packed lunches to go, and there are also nutritional counselors available. Pay for your meal plan via your student account.
You can sign up for a meal plan at any point, so you don't have to necessarily sign up right now. You can wait until you're on campus. You can sign up halfway through the semester if you want. It's really up to you. We do want to emphasize that if you're living on campus, this tends to be what most exchange students consider to be the most economical, most convenient, and most healthy options. If you're living off campus, you are still able to register, but you would do what's called the commuter plan. And then of course you can choose how many days you want. And then PAW points refer to a special system where as a UGA student, you'll get a UGA ID card, and you'll get these points that are added to your card, and you can use them around campus at vending machines and at we have like little stores throughout campus that sell food. And so your UGA ID card can function as a sort of credit card where it's charged with points, and all of the different food available in those vending machines and in those on-campus stores will cost a certain amount of points. So it's just another way for you to have access to food and not necessarily have to use cash to pay for it.
Great. So former exchange students say a lot of things about our meal plan. So some comments include sometimes some alternation in meals would be nice. Meals are good and dining halls are very convenient. One student said, I selected the 7-day meal plan. I was very happy with my choice because it provides to students a variety of types of food and nutrition. And then we have the 7-day meal plan was amazing and the best meal plan ever. And then someone else said, I did not purchase the meal plan because I lived off campus and had a kitchen at my apartment. I was happy with this choice. I went to Bolton once, and I would not recommend doing this without having purchased a meal plan. But the dining hall seemed to be a great option for students that do not have access to a kitchen. Someone else said you can order groceries online for only a small fee. This will save a lot of time depending on where you live. And someone else commented, I think it's good, but it's expensive, and the students are not so good in cooking because they never have to learn, but there's great service. So you see there are varying opinions on the meal plan, but we found that many people have enjoyed having this option.
And as one of those students mentioned, even if you don't end up joining the meal plan, you can go and eat there. You just do have to pay a flat fee, and it is slightly more expensive than, say, going to a restaurant, but you can get as much food as you want during that visit.
Are there any questions about the meal plan? Okay. So arrival. Please complete your UGA Exchange Students Arrival Questionnaire as soon as you know your plans. When completing the requested information, please keep in mind you will need to arrange transportation to get from Atlanta to Athens. We recommend the group shuttle service, and that's $42 for a one-way trip. It's about 1.5 to 2 hours to Athens from the Atlanta airport. So please make sure you are taking the group that is designed to go to Athens. Please give yourself 3 hours between your arrival time and your estimated shuttle departure time. This gives you time to do the immigration, get your baggage, and get from the international to the domestic terminal. Recommended arrival dates, if you are attending the IS orientation, which we'll talk a bit more about later, arrival dates that are ideal for this would be August 3rd through the 4th. If you're participating in ISL orientation, you can stay on campus for an additional fee of $55, which will be billed to your student account.
And that's if you arrive on August 3rd.
If not attending the ISL orientation, August 10th through 11th are the dates to arrive. These are the dates we're providing pickup from the Georgia Center in Athens. And our office is arranging student volunteers to meet you at the Georgia Center and help you with your luggage and get you to your dorm. This is optional, but many students find it helpful. Please note that this is a service in Athens, not Atlanta. Some tips to keep in mind: before leaving home, familiarize yourself with your airline's policies about luggage, so like the weight, any forbidden items, and other things like that. Pack for warm southern weather and for colder temperatures. There's air conditioning in buildings and for the winter. Think about what you'll be able to buy here versus what you won't have access to. Blankets, pillows, and sheets, you can buy those when you get here. Confirm your transportation from Atlanta to Athens. Make sure you have all your immigration documents. And in the event you are delayed, please send us an email to let us know. Are there any questions about this? Okay. And we're going to have a short presentation from Ben.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm going to give you a quick overview about what International Student Orientation looks like from when you arrive. Do you want to answer this question first before we do that?
Let's see. Chat. Is there a laundry room in ECV?
Yes.
Yes.
Multiple.
Yes. Yes. Good question.
International Student Orientation will take place on Sunday, August the 4th through Friday, August the 9th. Our main goal for orientation is that when you arrive to campus with us, that you have everything you need taken care of for that week leading up to before classes begin. So as a part of orientation, we are able to provide accommodation in a residence hall on campus, which will likely be different than where you are living for the fall semester if you're living on or off campus, and we will help facilitate getting you to where you need to go for the fall semester. Some of the things that we'll cover during our orientation schedule is we have quite a bit of exchange student-specific time for you all, not only with staff who work with exchange students, but also other campus resources that are important for you all to be aware of. We will talk about information with immigration issues, taxes for non-residents, because even if you are here on campus and don't have an on-campus job, there is still a tax form you'll need to file the following year. We'll talk about cross-cultural adjustment, any housing assistance you may need, assistance with course registration, how to get a social security card if needed, getting entered into the UGA payroll system if you are securing an on-campus job. We also have campus tours, group and social activities, so it's a very full schedule that's catered to the specific needs that international students have coming to campus. This is, of course, a great chance for you to meet other incoming and also current international students. We have about 300 students that go through orientation, so it's a really large group. And we are assisted by a group of about 30 current UGA students, some of whom are international students and some who are non-international students, to help you all get adjusted to life here in Athens and also being on campus. So one of the nice things as well is, as has already been talked about, is as a part of orientation, you'll actually get to try out what it's like being in a residence hall here on campus, as well as try the dining hall. So most of our meals for orientation are actually eaten in the Bolton Dining Commons, so you can get a chance for what it's like to eat in the dining hall before you actually determine if you want to purchase a meal plan for the fall semester. And so we strongly encourage you to attend orientation, even if you maybe have done some school experience before in the US. This is a very thorough program, and it's a really nice mix between sessions that are really important for you to know, but then also social time and being able to connect with current students as well. So that way, when orientation's over, you feel as prepared as possible moving into the start of classes for the fall semester. Registration is actually open. We've opened that, so all you need to do is follow that link there. There is a cost associated, and that's mostly with looking at housing and food provided for students, and it's all billed to your student account. So once you register, we will do billing later on in the summer. So of course, once you register, please upload that confirmation to your exchange student page in the StudyAway portal, and let the staff here in the Office of Global Engagement know if you're not attending ISL orientation. We stay in touch with them frequently throughout the summer to try to make sure that everybody's registered and able to get registered for international student orientation. Just so you all know, there are a couple different things just for you to be aware of. We are more than welcome for you to arrive on August 3rd for ISL orientation. That housing fee is what we are billed per night for housing. And so that is substantially cheaper than what you would likely find for a hotel or somewhere else that would be off campus. What we also will do is if you come in early on Saturday, August 3rd, then wherever you're placed and move in for orientation, you'll be in that same space throughout the entire week for orientation. One of the benefits to coming to international student orientation is that we are able to have you actually move into your on-campus housing early on Friday, August 9th. And so that morning, you would check out of orientation accommodations with us. We will then have a bus that will get you to where you need to go, you and all of your things, to your permanent housing space on campus. University Housing does assess an early move-in fee at that point, but you would be moving into the space that you would be accessing and living in for the entirety of the fall semester, whether that's in East Campus Village or otherwise on campus. If you're living off campus as well, we will facilitate transportation to get you to where you need to go. That afternoon as well, on August the 9th, we will also have a shopping trip that we'll take students to. So once you move in and get a bit of a feeling for what your residence hall room is like, we'll take you to one of our local stores here in case there's some last minute items you'd like to pick up. Assuming you didn't want to stay in orientation housing, there are other options as well. Just as a note, the moving in on Friday, August the 9th is only available for those students who are living in orientation housing with us. So that's one of the perks to be able to stay in on-campus housing for orientation, is that there's no gap in any sort of night where you need to find somewhere else to live. We can get you to where you need to go and help get you set up and move in. Information about orientation on our website. The link is on the previous slide. And then our contact information is also on our website. Our email address is very easy to remember. It's just isl@uga.edu. And we are more than happy to answer any questions you may have about orientation. We'll have a bit more information about the schedule available on our website in the coming weeks as well. And we hope that many of you will choose to join us. Any questions about orientation that I can answer?
So Ben, I think a common question that we get every year is if a student can join ISL orientation a day or two late. Is that something that you all can accommodate?
Absolutely. We are more than able to accommodate that. And we would just let us know and we can have discussions on how that will work from a logistics point of view, but we are more than happy. And some of you all may not be finishing up your current term until right before the start of term here in August in the United States. So we are more than able to make those arrangements should those be needed.
Are there any other questions for Ben? All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay. So I want to reiterate our exchange program timeline. So for the arrival date, if you're taking the ISL orientation, is August 3rd through the 4th, or the 4th. ISL orientation is strongly recommended August 4th through the 9th. Arrival dates, if you're not attending ISL orientation, August 10th through the 11th. The Office of Global Engagement orientation, for those who do not attend the ISL orientation, August 12th. And fall 2019 classes begin August 14th.
And just to reiterate, if you arrive on August 3rd, you see a little star next to it and you're arriving for ISL orientation, there is an extra fee associated with staying on August 3rd, and that is $55. There's also 2 stars next to August 9th. So again, to reiterate, if you're staying for ISL orientation and then you're moving into on-campus housing, you can move in on the 9th, but there's an extra $25 fee associated with that. If you're choosing to not attend ISL orientation, our office does offer optional pickup services here in Athens on August 10th and 11th. We'll be reaching out to those of you who are arriving on those dates to coordinate that. And that will involve a student volunteer who will come pick you up. They can take you to Walmart in case you need any immediate items, and then they will assist with your on-campus or off-campus check-in process. And then for those of you who are not attending ISL orientation, we strongly, strongly, strongly recommend that you attend our makeup orientation, which is OGE orientation on August 12th. That's when we'll be sort of summarizing all of those really important details about UGA and about exchanges and about signing up for classes, paying your student account, all of the details that you'll need to be successful starting on August 14th for classes. We really, really want students to attend ISL orientation because of all the reasons Ben was talking about, but if you cannot, we understand, but we would just really want you to attend our session on August 12th then. So there's clearly a bit of, there are a few options in terms of when you can arrive based on your own schedule and based on what sort of plane ticket you're able to book. But I guess we would firmly suggest that you at least arrive by the 11th so that you're able to meet us in our office on the 12th and get some basic information before starting classes on the 14th.
Are there any questions about this? Do both the August 3rd and August 4th have pickup service to UGA?
So this is a great question. So if you're arriving on the 3rd or the 4th and you're attending ISL orientation, the area where you get dropped off by that groom service, you're dropped off at the Georgia Center, that building is actually located right next to where you will be checking in and staying for ISL orientation. And so we don't actually offer a pickup service, but it's because you're walking, I don't know, like 2 minutes to the left of that building to get to where you need to go. And there are always a lot of very visible signs that are pointing you in the right direction, and staff from Groom will be able to guide you as well in case you need that. So no pickup service on those days, but it's because it's not actually necessary. Good question.
Any more questions? So thank you for attending our presentation. Just to reiterate, the Office of Global Engagement, our address is 1324 South Lumpkin Street here in Athens, Georgia, 30602. Our phone number is 706-542-2900, and you can email us at exchange@uga.edu.
Thanks so much for attending our webinar. Please make sure to review this information and let us know if you have any questions. I know there's a lot of time between now and when you all arrive in August, but you know a lot comes up between now and then. So we really look forward to working with you, and we look forward to welcoming you on campus in August. All right, thank you all so much. And we'll be sending this out via email, hopefully early next week, so you can refer back to it.